right, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. So, I'm going to be going over the very first vocabulary assignment that you have, and you're going to notice that you have a total of 4 of them. I'm just going to really go over the first one because the rest go exactly the same, but I really want you to have a good idea of what it is exactly that I'm looking for in this particular assignment. Now, you've noticed throughout the semester that thus far I'm very particular about the vocabulary words. Maybe through the quizzes I wrote, that's not how you use that word, because I really want you to understand the importance of these words and how we are using them, not just the definition. The definition's easy. You could look it up and then you could just retype that. That is not what I am looking for. I want you to illustrate it, not draw a picture, but I want you to show me how would you use this word. I don't want the definitions. I don't want you to go through and define argument or conclusion or warrant. I don't want definitions. Y'all, I know the definitions. That's not the hard part. What I want is for you to show me that you know exactly how to use the words, okay? So really quick, I want you to make sure that you understand that in this particular assignment, I want you to be able to use them as you will be using them throughout the other assignments that we go through. And it's every vocabulary word that we have throughout each chapter. So 1 through 4 is going to be vocabulary assignment number 1. Okay. So these are going to be due on March 14th. That is a Sunday. Let me double check that. Why does that feel weird? You know what's really odd? February 14th and March 14th. Oh, that's so weird. They're exactly the same. They're both on Sundays. Learning new things as you're watching this video. Okay. I've already restarted this like 5 times. I'm not doing it again. Okay, so the biggest thing I want you to do is you can actually from your computer. You're probably not going to be able to do this from your phone. You're going to have to be on a computer. Copy and paste the terms from where it says chapter 1 and 2 sources from all the way down. You can actually copy and paste this into like a Google Doc or a Word doc, whatever one makes you feel easiest to use. Make spaces in between every single one and give yourself some room because you're going to be using the word as you know how you would use it. So one of the ones, it's the first few are going to be the hardest, especially like argument, conclusion. So students, I've noticed sometimes will do that tendency to say, well, in conclusion, it's like, well, that's not how we're using this word conclusion. A conclusion comes as a part of knowing an issue, finding the reasons, and then coming up with the conclusion. Okay, so you just kind of see how there's a difference in using that word. So if you try and use it in conclusion, I'm going to give you 0 points because that's not what I'm looking for. What is conclusion? What is a conclusion that you come to? And how do you come to that conclusion? Well, a conclusion is an issue with reasons, right? Now, argument, I don't want you to say, well, they got in an argument at the store. That's not what I'm looking for. I want you to understand how would you use argument? And you could say, well, his argument was that cats are better than dogs because. So you used an argument, you used the word argument by showing what the issue was and including the reasons, okay? So, he came to the conclusion that cats are better than dogs because. So do you see how you can utilize these words? So again, don't define them. I kind of defined it a little bit when I was talking about conclusion, but what I really want you to do is utilize these words in a way that shows me you know how to use them, okay? So chapter 1 and 2 terms, again, when we were talking about warrants and backing. So backing is not something that goes on the back of a quilt, right? A backing is, something that you would use to back up your statements, okay? The backing's behind something. Warrants, I noticed that in the quiz especially, a lot of people used the warrant incorrectly. The answer to actually that part of the quiz was her demotion was warranted, right? Not a warrant for their arrest. Don't use that. Warrant for your arrest is not going to be something I will accept. You would have to say the warrant for their arrest is, and then you would describe it. That would kind of work. So again, Heather's demotion was warranted because she slept with Nick to get the answers to her article or something like that. So you can see how there's a difference there. Let's see here. Rationalizations. You can use different types of rationalizations to describe what a rationalization is, right? So you can actually utilize the book to help you give maybe some examples of what a rationalization is. So, again, that was a big one that a lot of students missed in the quiz, was not realizing what I was looking for there, which was the rationalizations that the Mod Squad used for why they do what they do. Okay, so keep that in mind. Okay. Let's see here. So we got chapters 3. We're going to be doing, again, reality assumptions, syllogism. Let's see here. Entomeme, major and minor premise. So utilize how you would describe or use these words in a sentence. Okay, so some of you might be a little bit stuck, like, how do I do that without defining it? So that's the kind of practice and the challenge of this assignment. So now that you know what you're looking for, it's not going to be a super quick assignment where you're like, oh, I'm going to take the definitions and then put them in here and then I'm done. You actually have to come up with your own sentences. I will be looking for plagiarism through either other students online. Usually once you upload it, it tells me everything. So make sure you're using your own usage of the word. The best way to do that is applying it to the readings or even better is it applying to like the movies. The movies is the best way to do it. The things that we've been doing in class, even your assignments if you want to apply it to that. So make sure you use that as a way of showing me you understand it. So if you're going to use like major and minor premise, don't go, oh, well, Kylene wrote on the board behind her major and minor premise. Well, no, you need to explain to me what, like how would you use major and minor premise? How do you know what that is? Okay, so do you see what I'm looking for there? So kind of, not necessarily defining it, but illustrating how you know what a major premise is and what a minor premise is. So show me how you know what these terms are. Don't just use it in a sentence and then call it a day. You have to show me that you know what it is saying. All right, so again, sample is not like a paint sample. It's a sample size, right? Remember we talked about that. Random is not, oh, he just made a random comment. No, you would need to explain to me how are you using random in the way of finding data. Same thing with sample. Same thing with biased, right? So I want you to use those particular terms, and you can apply it again to thank you for smoking, absolutely. But I want you to use these terms in a way that shows me that you're applying it to what it is applicable about, right? So, like, again, how would you say this? We realized that the sample size, we realized that the data was biased because the sample size was too small, right? So you could kind of utilize it like that. Or the random sample that we chose was from Olive Butte College, and so we knew that it wasn't biased. So you can actually interchange them. Totally fine. They don't count as it. You'd have to kind of rearrange it. But again, for every single one, you're going to have your own definition. So anyway, you're going to be doing this throughout each and every one of the vocabulary words, vocabulary assignments, is again illustrating these words, showing me that you understand exactly how to use them. And if you don't know, look it up in the book and see how it's being used to really understand the definitions behind it, okay? Don't half-ass this assignment. It'll catch you in the end. It always does. I see this with students like, I don't know, blah, blah, and they just think of something random and type it, and then their points get wiped out. And they're like, why did I fail? I did the thing. Well, you didn't do it right. You didn't do what I asked. So make sure you're taking a look and really understanding what these terms mean, because I'm going to call you out on them, all right? All right, aside from that, so far things are looking good. You're doing great. Keep it up. I'll see you on the other side.